Okay, so I'm going to start rambling, and if you could all just on your cameras look like you're enthralled by what I'm saying, that's what I'm going for.
Not sure I can
So,
promise that.
what? Right, that's it. I'm going. Enough. Okay, cool. So everyone who signed in, thank you very much for joining us on this virtual meetup. It's good to have so many people joining in again. Hopefully, we'll have a few more coming in shortly. And I'll just kind of go through kind of the usual things. You know who we are. It's me. It's Dan. We've also got a whole host of other people today who I'll briefly introduce later on. And I've got the wrong app focused, so there we go. Right, okay, so you know where you can find us. You can find us on the Meetup app itself. You can find us on Twitter at .NET Oxford. We have a Facebook page. I'm not entirely sure we ever really do very much with it, but it is there. If you want to get in touch on Slack, we are in the Digital Oxford Slack team, so you can go to the URL here, herokuapp.com, and you can join the .NET Oxford Slack channel and contact us that way. And we also have a website which Dan maintains very beautifully. Thank you, Dan. Just to kind of give a rough update of what's going on and all the bits and pieces that are on here. We've got quite a few write-ups, obviously, of also older talks that we've done as well that Dan spent a long amount of time writing, so they're pretty good. I've left this slide in here for Azure, the sister group. I will say, however, that there hasn't been any activity for a while on Azure Oxford. I think we're just kind of leaving it while we're all in lockdown, if that's correct. But that's Dan and James World who are taking care of that. So if you want to find out anything about that, go and reach out to them. Obviously, it's about Azure. There's plenty to cover on the topic there. And for some reason, I've got another screenshot. I have no idea why. Right, sponsors. So, Curriculo. Everyone who's Curriculo, shout hello. No?
Hello.
Excellent. So, Curriculo have been our sponsor since the go. You will know this. They've been amazing. Do reach out and chat to them during the break. We will be having a break where you can kind of chat to people if you want to, or you can just kind of turn your webcam off and hide under the desk like you're close. It's all fine. Don't need to worry about that. But yeah, they've been looking after us since the beginning, paying for venues, refreshments, and generally being very nice to us. So thanks, guys. Jess, Jonathan online, lovely stuff. Everstack is Dan and Dan's company. So Dan was available for hire. Now he's not because he's busy and he's got a new contract. But yeah, Dan's company helps a lot of businesses out doing quite a lot of .NET work. And I think you're currently playing with Kubernetes, which is one of the main things you play with, Dan, or certainly one of the main things you talk about. So that's all good. So thanks to Dan for that and all his time he spends on this. And also we've got Manning Publications and JetBrains, who sponsor us with freebies and giveaways that we can do usually every talk. Now I'm gonna stop here because I do need to mention that this month we're not doing the prize draw during the intro speak, primarily because there's a bit of an issue with the webhooks with Zoom, and we have no information about who's actually signed in. So we'll try and do that, I think, retrospectively, and then pick a couple of people out based on the RSVPs. But we won't do that just now, which is a bit of a shame, but means you probably save about 10 minutes of your life. So that's all good. That's fine. So I've been really quick on the news front, and there's a few things here. So Microsoft Ignite will be virtual this year in 2020, unless I'm very much mistaken. It's also going to be free. I don't have an exact date at the moment, but watch that space. That's going to be quite an interesting thing to do, to have a look at the Microsoft Ignite conference. There's also Microsoft Build digital events, which starts tomorrow. So if you happen to be not at work or furloughed or able to pretend you're not at work and doing some other things, there's going to be a lot of really cool content on here. If you just search Microsoft Build 2020 on Google, you will be able to find a link to that and sign up for free and then kind of join all of the events that they're putting together. It's only 2 days, but there should be some really good content going on there. And then this is more jarring than I thought it would be, actually. That's a lot of red. Apologies. So I can see the red on John's face reflecting back off the screen, which is quite impressive. But yeah, so there's Microsoft have done a preview of some source generators for C#. They're not going to be in VB, apparently. But these are basically generating code at build time rather than using reflection at runtime. So if you go to that bit.ly link at the bottom there, there's an article on the register about it, which is quite an interesting read. And as someone who did a lot of reflection in a previous job, it was kind of quite interesting to see what was happening there. So definitely worth having a look at that, I would say. Prize draw, no prize draw. No, these guys, there's still this though, this is still relevant. If you go to manning.com, even though they have loads of crazy special offers on at the moment, there's a 36% discount on Manning books if you use the user group code. Please don't share it on Twitter or anything, but it's pretty cool to take advantage of. And yeah, so upcoming events. I condensed all this into one slide, which takes some of the big bang away from it. But so this is what we've got coming up. So June, on the 9th, we have Scott Hanselman. He's talking generally about development stuff. He hasn't given us anything really much more concrete than that. I'm sure it's going to turn out to be really interesting. Most of his talks generally are, so that's all fairly good to look at. In July, we've got Simon talking about hacking C#.
Apologies in advance.
You're not supposed to apologise in advance, but okay, that's good.
Well, it's better than ducking and running before the angry mob gets me.
That's a fair point. Okay, and we've got Sebastian Lamler talking about REST. It's more kind of an open discussion, really, about REST. It should be quite interesting. And then we only confirmed this, I think, yesterday. We've got Layla Porter is going to come and talk to us about test-driven development and an introduction to that on August the 11th. So it's all filling up. I think pretty much all of these are virtual so far, unless something amazing happens and we get a really nice update from Boris, but unlikely, I would say. So tonight is Lightning Talks. This is the order of events that we're going for tonight. So we have got, what's that, nine speakers tonight. We're going to start with Dan talking about succinct C#. Jess is going to talk to us about jigsaw puzzles and systems and how to understand a system that you're not used to. We've got Dishant talking about MS Build and NuGet. I'm going to talk about security headers in web applications. I have no idea what wrench feature management is. Kev's going to present that, Kev White. He may or may not be a mushroom or a potato when he does that. We'll kind of find out. Infrastructure management with Terraform from Dimitrios, and Pride and Prejudice in C# from Simon. So Simon's doing 2 talks in 3 months. That's pretty impressive. Impact-driven development from Richard, and inclusion and accessibility from Vinny. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Dan's going to sing a small tune while he reconnects and starts showing his screen. And that's the presentation. So thank you very much, guys.